Welcome back to our Steven. I'm your host, Steven, who is currently trying to figure out if they truly can catch them all. And today, from friends backstabbing friends in the hospital to secretly taking videos to try and prove someone's not disabled, I've got some crazy updates, all starting with a story titled, "Am I Overreacting? My boyfriend secretly trolls women online, and it gave me the biggest ick." Original post, January 4th, 2026. New account because I don't use Reddit and this is my first time posting. I, 25-year-old female, had been with my boyfriend, 26-year-old male, for 3 years, and we lived together. Overall, he's always been sweet, funny, and kind. We argue sometimes, but nothing serious. He always told me that he doesn't really use social media, just Snapchat. Or so I thought. Last night, we were smoking and hanging out when he went to the gas station. While he was gone, I kept hearing a weird vibration/dinging noise. Eventually, I realized it was coming from under our dresser. I pulled out an iPad I'd never seen before. It was covered in stickers from his video games, and the wallpaper was a picture of our dog, so it was clearly his. I had no idea he even owned an iPad. Once I got in, I saw non-stop notifications from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, literally everything. All the accounts were anonymous/spam looking, but they were all tied to his email. I started opening the notifications and I was honestly disgusted. He was commenting on women's bodies, saying they needed more makeup, body shaming them, leaving hateful comments on YouTube, and trolling people on Reddit with fake cringe stories. On Twitter and Instagram, he was constantly insulting people for no reason, but nothing prepared me for what I found next. I like to game and live stream with my friends a few times a week just for fun. For the past year, there has been this one account that always joins our stream and says the most racist and vile things, telling us we need more makeup, should dress more attractive, insulting our looks and sending us awful messages about how nobody would want to watch us looking like that. It got so bad that when we blocked the account, they would just make new ones. We eventually stopped streaming 6 months ago because of it. I almost filed a police report at one point. I realized last night it was my boyfriend. He has been trolling me and my friends the entire time. This wasn't just popping in and leaving. He would stay the entire live stream saying horrible personal things about us. I genuinely don't understand why someone would do this to their girlfriend. I thought our relationship was good. I haven't told him yet. I've been at my friend's house all day because I can't even look at him without feeling sick. Am I overreacting if I break up with him over this? My friend thinks filing a restraining order is over the top and can ruin his career. For context, I'm a black woman, and no, I'm not a stay-at-home. I do have a job that's part-time while still doing school. My boyfriend is biracial, Mexican, and white. My boyfriend is a full-time worker at a really nice known paid job. Before we dated, we had known each other since my freshman year of high school. I did take his iPad with me to my friend's house. We did more digging and found some other stuff that I've documented to take pictures of. Before the end of the day, I plan on returning the iPad back to where it was, but I don't think I could fake the relationship or leave quietly. Honestly, I think it's best if I just drop everything, leave, and make the police report. Also, I do plan on leaving him, but is the restraining and police report too far? I would like to chime in real quick here just to say, if this is true and their boyfriend was popping in and harassing them and ruining the experience of live streaming for months for such a long time, how could you possibly be worried about whether or not you're ruining his career with a restraining order? Like, would it not be justly earned if that happened? One commenter on the original post said, "Plot twist, this is part of the trolling, not overreacting. In all seriousness, this is pretty freaking messed up. Just leave." The OP of the post responded, "Trust me, I really wish it freaking was. I truly wish this was all made up. I literally saw myself with this man for the rest of my life, and now I can't even read the comments without tearing up over this stranger I was living with." Another commenter wrote, "Not overreacting. Clearly this man has some serious issues. Lying about social media usage is already weird and concerning. Lying because he's doing all this crap is a lot more concerning. The fact he targets you and your friends? Lady, your boyfriend isn't who you think he is. Run before you're trapped with this unhinged person." The OP responded to that, "That man is a stranger to me now. I never knew someone that close to me could turn out to be so horrible. Another commenter wrote, absolutely valid, and I would highly suggest you and your friends file a restraining order and bring this to the attention of those close to him, particularly the women in his life. You simply don't know how deep or far back this goes. Everyone will be better for it. This is creepy, confusing, scary, vile, all of the above. I don't usually name and shame, but this deserves it. OP responded, yeah, I've been pondering over it for the past couple hours now, and I honestly think a restraining order is the only way I would be able to move on from this, and I think my friend should get one too. One commenter asked how OP got access to the iPad if it was password protected and seeing all those details while her boyfriend went to the gas station. OP responded, well, I didn't add it because I didn't think it was really necessary information. Yeah, there was a password. It was our dog's birthday. Took me literally 5 minutes to figure it out, and yeah, our gas station is 10 minutes from us. The man was high and shopping for snacks in a gas station at 1 a.m. One last commenter wrote, your friend is crazy for not looking out for you. Do you have any family? I know, usually they can be just as unhelpful. He should have thought about his career before doing this. I've seen videos of women finding men's workplaces from a hate comment and sending an email to their workplace with the screenshots, and the man loses their job. If it isn't you making this known to his work, then it should be someone else. The OP responded to that, yes, I do, and this is one of the friends who's not a part of the live stream trolling, so I understand why she's seeing it from our perspective, but I did the right thing by calling my 2 other friends that I would live stream with and telling them the truth, and they're on their way over here right now, and they're 100% on board with a police report and restraining. Okay, the only reason why I haven't told my parents is because my dad is the only one in my life at the moment, and he's currently a felon. I just don't want him getting upset and wrapped up into something over this loser. The OP then goes on to post an update 2 weeks later on January 17th, 2026. First, I want to thank everyone who commented and messaged me with advice. I really didn't expect my original post to blow up so fast, and I appreciate the support more than I can explain. Before the update, I want to clarify a few things that people kept asking about. After I took the iPad to my friend's house, we found even more than I originally mentioned. He had active Tinder and Bumble accounts and had been cheating on me. As for the Reddit accounts, he wasn't asking for advice or posting about his own problems. He was posting fake sexual stories and fantasies across different not safe for work subreddits. Also, no, he doesn't work around women. His job is in a very male-dominated environment. Now, on to what happened next. As you probably guessed, he realized I had the iPad before the end of his workday. He started texting me asking if I was okay, if something was wrong, acting overly normal. I acted nonchalant and didn't confront him yet. 2 hours after he would have been home from work, he completely spiraled. He started blowing up my phone, accusing me of stealing his iPad, demanding I bring back his property, and saying he knew I had it because I'd been changing passwords and profile pictures. I stayed the night at my friend's house. At that point, his reaction told me everything. He didn't care about what he'd done, just that he'd been exposed. The next day, I went back to the apartment with 3 friends who waited in the hallway. As soon as I walked in, he started apologizing, but only for cheating. That's when I realized he still didn't know that I knew about the trolling. There was a girl he'd been talking to on Snapchat and seeing from Tinder. I'd already messaged her to let her know that he had a long-term girlfriend and had been lying. She had contacted him while he was at work, so he assumed that was the only reason why I was leaving. I told him that cheating was unforgivable and that I was done. While I packed my things, he had the audacity to tell me that when I was ready to deal with my insecurities and apologize, the door would be open. The freak? I was freaking ticked, but I wasn't in the headspace to argue, so I just grabbed my crap and left. Later, my friends and I decided to go live just to see what would happen. Almost immediately, the same troll account joined the stream and started talking trash. We laughed and said out loud that we knew it was him. The account left right away. About 10 minutes later, he texted and called me from an unknown number, yelling and calling me names, accusing me of harassment and making serious accusations. After I sent him the link to my Reddit post, I left, staying with a friend. The next morning, I decided to go to my apartment to talk to him. When I finally confronted him about the trolling, he broke down crying and admitted why he did it. He told me that he'd gained some weight, felt insecure, and wanted to knock me down a few notches because after therapy and recovering from a knee injury, I had gained my confidence again. He said I was acting like a hot crap and needed to be reminded that we were in the same league and to chill the freak out because he could find any girl that looks like me, if not better. With help from my family, I was able to pay to get my name off the lease. I'm now staying with a friend. He's already moved in the girl from Tinder, female 19. That's where things stand. Everything's documented, I'm no longer living with him, and I'm moving on. Thank you all again for the advice. Wish I could say this was some huge exciting ending, but there you have it. And yes, I'm still gonna try to go for the restraining order, but the police literally called this a ridiculous situation. So we're choosing to let bygones be bygones. I just gotta say, once again, another situation that comes along and the police go, "Oh, that's a domestic issue, we're just gonna wash our hands of this one." I guess I'm assuming the problem is it's not like truly a crime. There's not like a threshold that clearly has been crossed that make the cops go, "Okay, we're going to act on this." Unfortunately, it sounds like for OP at this point, if they want to have some kind of restraining order or action, it's going to require them to break out their wallet and consult some kind of lawyer. On the update post, one commenter wrote, "Glad you're out. Lord have mercy on that barely an adult he moved in. However, you told her what she was getting, and she said yes anyway." I'm not terribly surprised the police turned down the restraining order. Keep all of your evidence and document any further attempts he makes to contact you or interfere with your life. Hopefully he realizes he has already lost and leaves you alone. A second commenter wrote, "I really hope OP shared the screenshots with this poor girl though, and shared more details than just, 'He has a long-term girlfriend.' Not that the girl's well-being is OP's responsibility in the slightest. However, I do wonder if she would have pursued a relationship with this piece of crap if she knew the entire story." The OP actually responded to that comment saying, "Yes, I did. When I contacted her, I showed her proof and everything. She even apologized for having to deal with that and even advised me to move on." A third commenter wrote, "Good for you, but if you're ever in a similar situation, do not go back to talk without someone else with you. Leaving is a very dangerous time, and even guys who have never shown signs of violence before have been known to explode. Be safe." The OP replied, "Both times I saw him, my friends were with me. Both times they waited in the hallway." Also, I would love to know in the comments what you guys think, whether or not OP should pursue it further, or considering it's probably going to cost some serious money, just let it go and leave that guy in the dust and hopefully they'll just stop incriminating themselves around OP and their friends. On the whole entire saga, Bug Hunter left a comment saying, "My friend thinks filing a restraining order is over the top and can ruin his career?" My guidepost for these questions is simple. If you needed to interact with someone in whatever career they were in and you knew they did this, would you still feel safe interacting with them? If the answer is no, then guess what? They set their own career on fire and deserve every consequence. And also, I've got my own update to share. I finally paid off the contractors and they confirmed to me that they managed to restore to working condition both the like and subscribe buttons down below. You know, if you want to support the channel and stick around for some more update stories. That said, our next story is an abusive volunteer is holding our website hostage plus 2-year update. Original post, July 19th, 2023. I am the first vice president of a nonprofit. We're all volunteers, including our webmaster, Fergus. Fergus built our website some number of years back in a computer language he invented and hasn't finished developing. Because of this, he's the only person that understands fully how the website functions, which includes the database for our treasurer. The security and continuity of this database is, obviously, critical, and there are many other parts to our website that would make our members very unhappy to not have access to. Fergus is also an abusive bully. Straight up. From the way he's treated the various people who have volunteered to help with the website over the years, to the way he interacts with people needing the website updated, the only thing we can figure is that he views the website as his personal fiefdom, and anyone who wants to understand how it works is treated as a personal threat to his cherished status as webmaster. We have lost members due to his behavior. We've had conversations with him that admittedly might have been too gentle, but honestly, I don't think he's genuinely listening, nor does he care to listen. It's like he's already made up his mind. From his viewpoint, everyone else is lying about his behavior, and he's not the one that's the problem. He's basically untouchable, and he knows it. Fergus is a known problem, but we feel stuck between a rock and a hard place. No one will work with him, and he keeps running off any volunteers. We can't get anyone to volunteer to help us create a new website on a sustainable platform. Even if Fergus was the most sainted saint to ever saint, he's a single point of failure due to the language the website is in and his gatekeeping knowledge of certain parts of the website. We could fire him from the position with no website or web team to replace him, but then our ability to function will revert back to pre-internet days, which means our treasurer won't be able to do her job. How do you manage a volunteer who is crucial but unmanageable? So I do want to chime in here and say, while I don't want to take too much of a dig at whoever hired him and put them in this position, especially considering it's a volunteer effort, so you kind of take what you can get when there's somebody like a webmaster who can make a website. But I just wish whoever hired him or put him in that position that they knew exactly what they were getting into when Fergus said, "I'll make the website in my own proprietary language." Admittedly, I only know kind of the basics with like coding and programming and languages for like websites and HTML kind of stuff. But if somebody comes to you and says, "I'll do this job for you, and I'll even use my own language that I'm writing," you should almost always laugh that person off unless they are very accredited. It's like somebody coming to you with a pitch where they're asking you to finance their movie and they're going to shoot the film on the camera that they invented, cobbled together from bits and pieces of other cameras. And if you ever have any kind of issue while filming that movie with Fergus and you want to get rid of him, you can't, because Fergus is the only one that knows how to actually get the film out of that shoddy cobbled together camera. So anyways, OP goes on to post an update about half a year later. Update December 7th, 2023. As it turns out, I wasn't as generic in my description as I thought I was, and there are at least 3 Ask a Manager fans in my organization that recognized me. Oops. Anyway, patience is not one of my innate strengths, and I know I have a tendency to go, freak it. We're making a decision too early in the decision-making process. So it was nice to hear from you and the comment section that my personal opinion of "he's got to go" is what we need to do. I've been trying to get this guy gone since 2021. Within a month of my letter, 3 of the 4 of us primarily involved in this went on previously scheduled vacations. We're scattered over the country, so aligning with time zones is difficult enough during the week, and aligning with life on the weekends is just as challenging. Fergus and I are 4 hours apart. Fergus wrote up a request for volunteers, but as far as I know, no one's volunteered. I've reached out to 2 other members who I've been working with about having the conversation we said we were going to have with Fergus, and no luck. By this point, I'm so frustrated by the lack of follow-through that I've completely given up. I can't unilaterally remove the guy, and seemingly no one else is giving the situation the same priority as I am. The next person to complain to me about Fergus is probably going to get an earful about how if they aren't willing to contribute to the solution, I'm not going to listen to them complain about the problem. Regardless, the question of what would you do if Fergus was hit by a car or dropped off the grid or disappeared in a fit of pique tomorrow, you and a decent portion of the comment section included suggestions for tools to help build a new site and to copy information from the current site, and I'm deeply thankful for all the advice. I was, however, absolutely unsuccessful in getting any of them to work. Problem definitely exists between keyboard and chair. I've been teaching myself WordPress, but it's kind of a successful failure. Copying information over by hand is slow going, and I'm held back by not knowing how any of the behind-the-scenes stuff is set up anyway. So while I can eventually make a beautiful WordPress site, It'll be nothing but text and pictures with no ability for the treasurer to do anything. If I felt the others cared as much as I did about this, I'd be willing to fling personal funds at the problem to hire someone who knows what they're doing. But since no one else seems to care, why should I spend money out of my pocket? So this is where I leave everyone with the very unsatisfying update of nothing has changed. Nothing looks like it will be changed, and your intrepid anti-heroine is left defeated. However, should something change, I'll promise I'll keep everyone posted. Chiming in again just real quick to say, it kind of feels exactly where I would be in the same situation. I'd be feeling like, okay, screw it. It can't be that hard to figure out how WordPress works, or, you always see advertisements out there for like Wix or whatever website building thing. Oh, with this website building service, now I can sell my dog treats that I've been only handing out to neighbors to the whole world. I can even get helpful feedback on the website, like this one from Susan saying to stop using glitter in the dog treats because she doesn't like how it turns out coming out the other end. Websitebuilder.com. Almost makes you wonder why I don't get more sponsors. Anyways, OP goes on to post another update 2.5 years later, update 2, January 5th, 2026. I am no longer a mere VP, I have been elected president. A short summary of my previous letters. I'm on the board of a small organization and we're all volunteers. There were issues with our webmaster and our website, but the previous president wasn't wanting to muck around with the site. I understand his reasons, but I disagreed with him about it. At our 2024 convention, the now former president announced that he was not running for re-election and that I was running for president. The webmaster pulled me aside after this and told me that he was planning to retire, that he had identified someone to take over the role from him, and that he was anticipating being able to step down in December 2026. Yes, 2026, as in 18 months from when we were having this conversation. Flash forward to October, the webmaster sent me an email reiterating what he had told me at our convention. I replied back, agreeing with a lot of the points that he had made, and then continued on to say that having one webmaster was a single point of failure. We couldn't rely on always having tech-savvy members with the desire and time to maintain the website, and my plans for how I wanted to change things. This did not go down well. I think the summary of the months-long conversation is, while I definitely made some missteps, the only outcome he was willing to accept was what he had already decided. And since that wasn't going to happen, we were pretty much doomed to be loggerheads about it all. I officially took office in January, and as part of my president's message, included an acknowledgement of the work that he had done over the years, and then a description of what I wanted to make happen, and a call for volunteers. And holy crap, did they deliver! I ended up with a fantastic group of volunteers, one of whom had retired recently and has a ton of project management experience. She took the reins and our first meeting was March 2025. I am blown away by how talented and dedicated this group is, and I'm even more blown away by all the things that went into this site. We have an official privacy policy now, legal disclaimers. Members can update their own privacy information. The site itself is gorgeous, and we launched it right at the beginning of July, just before our yearly convention. I'm a little worried that we're still borderline single point of failure on the technical side, but I've been assured that the team is good to go. When we launched, we did so with what we felt was the minimum viable product, and that we've been adding functionality, features, made some changes and improvements, all that good stuff since July. Right now, we're working on updating our directory in accordance with our new privacy policy. Ooh, exciting! The former webmaster and the new web team, we've all reached a sort of détente with each other, and, given how everything went down, I'll take it. Are we all going to be the best of friends? Probably not, but I think we can all either treat each other with respect, or just nicely ignore the other person's existence, and I'm good with that. So all's well that ends well. Now I just need to get started on my project for this year, but since it's actually an idea from one of my VPs, I think I'll just start poking at him to get it up and running. Again, I don't really want to be that guy, but is this not kind of like the bureaucratic process here? In 2023, OP was like, I want to get rid of this guy. I'm almost basically willing to take it all on myself. And because everybody else in this kind of sort of political process didn't want to do anything, nothing happened until OP finally took over in 2026. That previous president absolutely sandbagged this entire part of the company for years because, I don't really feel like it, or doesn't really seem like enough of a problem to me. Commenting on the whole saga, Bug Hunter left a comment saying, Fergus built our website some number of years back in a computer language he invented and hasn't finished developing. For the non-technically inclined, this is like if a car salesman tried to sell you a one-of-a-kind car from a company you've never heard of and doesn't show up on Google, has 3 wheels, only 1 car door, and a windshield made of butter. Tiny Sydney replied to that saying, not just that, but that 3-wheeled, 1-doored, flying purple people eater, one-of-a-kind car is actually just yet another idiot framework that he is presenting as his own language because nobody else around knows enough to tell him that he's a freaking idiot. Our next story is, my friend took advantage of me when I was in the hospital. Original post, January 16th, 2026. I was away from my home for a month for a planned surgery plus recovery. This was a very intensive surgery. I'm 6 weeks out right now and I can still barely walk. At the last minute, my hired pet sitter canceled on me and I was desperate to find a replacement. I offered that money to a friend who was having housing difficulties. She was to take care of my house and pets. I let her stay in my home while I was gone, and I even bought $300 worth of groceries for her. The agreement was for her to take care of my kittens and fish and to have the house tidied up before I got home. My car would be there in case of an emergency, but otherwise, please avoid driving it. It's a lease, and I have an allotment of miles I can drive before I have to pay extra. After I was admitted into the hospital, she moved her own cat in and also her boyfriend in. When I got home, my house was an absolute disaster. Dishes piled up in the sink. Took me 4 loads to clear, dishes and leftover food scattered around the house, cat vomit left to dry on the floor, bags of cat litter clumps in the hallway, half-full trash bags left in the entryway, stains on the couch, floors, and counters filthy. There was a 3-foot circle of wood ash on the floor around the fireplace. They used up 80% of my winter wood pile, so now I don't have enough wood to last me the rest of the winter. So here I am, post-surgery and barely able to walk, scrubbing the floors, doing dishes, taking out the trash, sweeping and mopping and vacuuming. But there's only so much I can physically do before I'm in massive pain. Well, you guessed it. I have been in massive pain every night since that first night doing too much trying to clean up after her. It hasn't even been a week. She tried to negotiate with me to stay at my house for several more weeks or longer to help with the kids and take care of you. No, not a chance. But I'm so weak right now that I had to play it as tactfully as I could. What resulted was her staying an extra 2 days, her useless boyfriend sitting on my couch, eating my food, watching me clean up and not offering to help. She, at least, cooked food for me the next day. I called my 2 besties, a married couple, and asked them to come by to ensure these 2 left my house when the lift arrived to take them home. I told them hours beforehand to pack up and be ready to leave. They waited until 10 minutes prior to finally start packing, and the Lyft driver had to wait a half hour for them. As they were leaving, the boyfriend was questioning my friend and asking him how long they were staying. He gray-rocked with excellence. The boyfriend was all, "I'm just concerned about her and want to make sure she has the help she needs, and I'll be back to help out as much as I can." That jerk did absolutely nothing to help and made everything harder on me. As soon as they were gone, my real friend sent me to bed and helped clean up my kitchen and living room. My kids also helped out. Even with that, I would still end up having to spend time over the next several days cleaning up after them. I still haven't tried to remove the couch stains, but at least my son vacuumed all the crumbs and such out of the cushions and cleaned up the fireplace. And then I discovered my car. I had given her permission for 2 non-emergency trips into the city, about 30 miles away. She also admitted to using my car a little bit while I was gone. I was too weak to make a fuss of it. Well, It turns out they drove my car over 1,100 miles. These parasites took absolute advantage of me while I was at my weakest. So today, I sent a text requesting that they pay me 30 cents per mile of unauthorized use, which adds up to $255. I'll either get some money back for my troubles, or I'll scare them away so badly that I'll never have to see them or deal with them again. Either way, it's a win. You know, I'm chiming in here to say my first instinct was 30 cents per mile of unauthorized use was too low, but then I thought about it again and I thought it actually might be a very well-calculated number just because $255 is just close enough to that realm of maybe they will pay that. Don't get me wrong, they likely won't, but maybe it's not obscene. Dillygaff left a comment on that original post saying, "Jesus, I'm so sorry this happened to you, OP." And the OP responded, "Thank you. It's hard for me to enforce boundaries even when I'm at my best, but I'm trying to get better. I've been learning and practicing ever since I divorced my cheating ex." Rated PG left a comment saying, "Why in God's name didn't you ask your two besties right from the get-go? Why did you ask some scumbag friend?" OP responded, "Yeah, they asked me the same thing. I was stressed and panicking and didn't think they'd be available with their jobs, especially since I live a good 45-minute drive from them. I figured it was easier to help a friend in need than to impose upon them. I suffered for my choice." Nut Ali left a comment saying, "How old are your children and where were they when these slobs were at your house?" The OP responded, "Elementary school age. I have 50-50 custody of them, so they stayed with my ex while I was gone." On why the ex couldn't help, OP commented, "My ex is a cheater and a liar and deeply hurt me with the multiple affairs. I would really prefer not to have to rely on my ex for anything other than what is strictly necessary regarding the children." Cynical Owl left a comment saying, "Are the fish okay?" OP replied, "Fish are doing well. Oh, and my water filler broke the night before I left, and I had to spend another $70 on a new one. I'm just glad the pet store was still open when it happened." Valuable Job asked, "Is your cat okay?" And OP said, "Kittens are doing well. Happy, healthy, well socialized. At least she took care of them well. People aren't all bad, and as much as she and her boyfriend used me, at least my pets were taken care of. I'm forever the silver linings girl." One user mentioned changing the locks, and OP responded, "Changing locks is something I know how to do. I had to do it after the divorce when my ex's parents decided they could just waltz into my house whenever they wanted, because it's the same house our grandbabies are in. I bought the house off my ex in the divorce." One user asked if anything was stolen, and OP said, "I was so scared my medicine would have been taken that it was the first thing I looked through. Fortunately, the only valuable jewelry I have, I wear. My ex never bought me jewelry. They're all pieces I bought myself after the divorce. I still have to check out the garage and see if things are where they're supposed to be. And yes, searching the house for anything illegal is definitely something I should do. It's just hard to do everything while recovering from surgery. I move slow, I'm in a lot of pain, and there's always something that needs to get done, including bed rest." OP then went on to post an update the next day, January 17th, 2026. First off, an editor's note, OP has posted over the last several months about her cutting off her parents, her divorce, the affairs her ex had, and the abuse she suffered. I didn't include those posts here because they weren't specifically relevant to this post, but wanted to make a note that OP's words and explanations in this post are backed up by her other posts. Update: I didn't expect an update to happen so quickly. Honestly, I didn't expect an update at all. You may call me naive. You're probably right. I just always try to see the best in people and hope they choose to be good. It's time to use some names. Her name is Raven. I don't know if that's her real name, but that's what she introduced herself to me as, and that's how I know her. Her boyfriend is Angelo. The cat's name is Alvin. He's a sweetheart. A bit of background on me, I grew up in an abusive household. One of those never rock the boat homes where image was more important than anything else. If someone harmed me, hurt me, insulted me, anything, and I got upset, I was forced to apologize to them. My dad is also an explosive man. He was fine most of the time, except for the times when he wasn't. When I was 18, he strangled me. I fled to the army, got away for 4 years, sent to war, and got PTSD. My dad has only repeated that behavior towards me a few times since, over the years. The most recent was last June. The time before was last February, and he left bruises on me. I ended up marrying an emotionally unavailable person who would later become a serial cheater and blame me for the affairs. For years, I accepted that blame, tried to change myself and make myself better so they wouldn't cheat anymore. I finally filed for divorce at the end of 2024. When I called my mom for support, she took the side of my ex, downplayed the affairs, and told me to cancel the divorce and beg my ex back for the sake of the kids. It took me a long time to be able to admit to myself that none of this was my fault, and most of that was just this past year while I've been in therapy. Despite everything that happened, I always blamed myself, not them. I tried over and over to explain to them how they harmed me. It never worked. It's not my fault that I have been abused, but it's my responsibility to take ownership of my healing. Fault is past-focused. Responsibility is future-focused. We learn from the past, but we focus on the future. I'm now estranged from my parents as of 3 months ago. My mom does not respect that and keeps trying to find ways to contact me, including showing up at my house unannounced. My dad has been crap-talking about me to anyone he can. He battered my ex, threatened to sue us both for grandparents' rights. As soon as my divorce is signed by the judge and finalized, I'll be talking to a lawyer about getting a restraining order against my parents. All that is to explain what happened between me and Raven and why it was so hard for me to kick her out. Not only am I bad at boundaries in general, but also with major surgery. I'm in a severely weakened state as I slowly recover. I'm so thankful for my best friends for coming in to help me. I say all this to preface what happened last night. I am too nice, I know I am, but it's not something I want to let go. People do take advantage of me sometimes, I know. It's a risk of being kind, but I refuse to let my kindness go. I want to live in a world with kindness, and that always starts with yourself. I don't want to grow into a bitter old hag. Despite posting my story only yesterday, the events took place last weekend. I returned home from surgery last Friday, and it took me until Sunday to actually get Raven and Angelo out of my house. I couldn't have done it without my 2 best friends who helped enforce it for me. Even then, they left behind several things. Some clothes, her prescription medicine, her cat, etc. This was likely so they could worm their way back into my home, though I didn't realize it at the time. Then I spent all week taking care of my kids and slowly trying to clean house. Yesterday was custody exchange day, so now I finally have some time to just relax and recover. Yesterday, I also ran out of pain meds. I've been desperately trying to get more all week, but my surgeon is unavailable, my primary care physician is out of office, my gynecologist never called me back. Finally, I just went to the ER for pain management. The doctor and staff there were wonderful, but it still took a total of 7 hours. I didn't get home until after 9 p.m. At 11:45 p.m., I got a phone call from a local number I didn't recognize. I answered. It was Raven. She was in tears. She said the house she was staying at ended up being a meth house and they were trying to end each other and she was scared and I was the only person she knew and she needed me to come get her. I told her I can't get her. I can't drive that much. I just got out of the ER. I'm on pain meds that make it so I can't drive. I'm not going to put myself around druggies, especially in my current state, and I can't bring her back to my home. I need my home to be for me. Her attitude immediately shifted. The crying immediately stopped, the pitch of her voice dropped, and she said something about, "Fine, I get it. I'll figure it out. It's not your problem." She hung up. I don't remember exactly as my pain meds make my head fuzzy. After that, she texted me. I'll copy and paste the response as this sub doesn't let me post pics and I can't share the screenshots. Raven said, "I'm sorry I asked. And also, you can tell me, are we not friends anymore? Did I do something really bad?" OP responded to her, "Call 911. You're in danger and so is everyone around you. Get the police to arrest them and get you to safety." Raven responded, "I already did." And OP responded, "Good." Raven replies, "I don't know what to do anymore. The cops are here but they won't help. It looks like the cops left doing nothing in the process. I'm sorry. It's okay. I'll figure something out." At this point, I wrote a long message about how I can't have her back, However, I took a lot of the advice given to me on my last post, especially the criticism calling me a doormat, calling me naive, and saying this was my fault for being too kind. So I copied what I wrote into an AI and had it rewrite it for me so I could better enforce boundaries. Here's what I originally wrote but didn't send. You have to figure that out for yourself. I am not your rescuer. I have my own health to take care of and my own children. Besides, I've already given you a lot already and you abused that. You left my house in shambles. It's taken me all week to clean up after your stay and there's still more to do. I've torn stitches trying to make my home safe for my kids. It's not safe around you and Angelo. He especially scares me. I'm fairly certain he's an addict. For the time being, you're not welcome at my home. If you show up, I will call the cops. Ditch that man. Get stability in your life, and I may reconsider. For now, Alvin will be well taken care of. Here's what I actually posted with the help of AI. I'm really sorry you're in a frightening situation. I'm not able to help beyond encouraging you to work with emergency services and local resources. I need to be clear that I cannot be your rescuer, and I cannot take on crisis support, transportation, or housing. I'm recovering from surgery and need to focus on my health and my children. Due to what happened during your stay, including the condition my home was left in and the negative impact on my recovery from it, you and Angelo are not welcome at my home going forward. This boundary's firm. If you show up here, I will call the police. Alvin will be cared for. I wish you safety, but I can't be involved beyond this. Raven responded to that. So the stuff I left I can't get back? Not even my cat? Me responding, again with AI help, said, please send me a list of the personal items you want returned and an address where they can be shipped. I'm not able to arrange in-person pickup. For Alvin, I'll coordinate a drop-off at a vet or a shelter, and you can retrieve him from there. If you have a preferred vet, please let me know, otherwise I'll select one. Raven responded, the stuff I don't care about. Can you please just drop my cat off that I can get him? And I'm sorry that I didn't take care of the house well enough. Just please don't throw my cat away. Can't you just drop him off at local vet like on Monday? Whatever time I'll be there. Just don't take my cat away from me. And that's it. I spent the rest of the night so scared that they would show up to my house anyways. I already have PTSD from the army, which leaves me super paranoid that people are going to attack me and harm me. So whenever conflict comes up, I end up spiraling and panicking about it, imagining scenarios over and over. Fortunately, my anxiety meds help. I locked all my doors and windows. I eventually fell asleep at 1 a.m. I've been up since 5. On Monday, I plan to ask a friend to come with me to drop the cat off, and then after I leave, I'll inform her that she can get him. And if she can't, well, it's not my problem. As for me, today I have some different friends dropping by to cook me dinner and help clean my house some more. I've also asked them to help me change the locks, thanks to all the advice I received in my last post. Hopefully this is the end of it. I really just want to be able to recover in peace. Edit to answer some of the same questions that keep coming up. 1. Yes, I have cameras. 2. Yes, I'm changing the locks, but I haven't been able to do so yet. I didn't get home from the emergency room last night until 9 p.m., and I'm not in a position where I can keep running errands all day. I went to the grocery store this morning, and that took about everything I have out of me. I have friends coming tonight to help. 3. Yes, I have a credit monitoring subscription set up, and I will be going through that when I have the time and energy. There's only so much I can do in a day before my body shuts down. Recovery from major surgery is absolutely exhausting. 4. No, I will not keep Alvin. I don't want to have anything that will invite Raven back into my home. For all of you saying that I need to keep him, I welcome you to take him for yourself and subsequently invite Raven into your lives. Then you can deal with all of this and I can recover in peace. I'll let you know what location I drop him off at and you can go pick him up before she does, if she does at all. I wanted to pop in here and just say, it's good that OP was more direct here, but does anybody else feel like OP really misfired by relying on AI to reword everything? I feel like OP's original response was way better and way more direct. I mean, especially the detail OP mentioned about how they tore stitches trying to clean up after Raven, that the AI rewrite just completely eviscerates and glosses over with, I'm sorry you're feeling hurt. I'm afraid I cannot help you in this situation. Please contact an official resource if you need help. Getting into some of the comments on that update post, Artistic License wrote, oh my god, sounds like a Raven I know. Do you live in the Sunshine State? This is what AI is good for, helping to reword stuff. OP responded, I'm on the other coast, California girl. The cat, I feel bad for the cat, but I don't legally own him and cannot put myself in a position where she'll try to use him as leverage against me or to re-enter my life. No BS for me commented, OP, I suggest having someone at your house when you drop Alvin off, because Raven may send some of her tweaker pals to rob your place while you're not there. Pain meds are irresistible for junkies. OP responded, thank you, that's a good idea. Editor's note, OP has posted a few more times in the last week, but hasn't said anything about the cat. I'm assuming things went well as her posts seem to be positive and she has pictures with her friends. I'm marking this as an ongoing case in case OP updates about the cat. And in response to the whole entire saga, Aggressive's Infidel left a comment saying, Raven is sorry she didn't take care of the house well enough. Wow. And a user named Bug Hunter left a comment saying, 10-to-1 odds that Angelo and Raven were trying to move in and become tenants. Our next story is, my brother hacked into everything and is trying to control my life. Original, August 30th, 2018. I'm in my second year of undergrad at a state university in California, and I'm having an issue with my brother, who's in his late 20s and a computer engineer. This is relevant to my issue. As a side note, I know very little about computers other than basic Googling skills. My brother is a very type A person, very perfectionist and hardworking, often to the detriment of himself and others. He's a nice and positive person and is successful in the traditional sense, but he's very controlling and has a bit of an overblown ego. I'm a much more relaxed person, and the two of us share very little in the way of interests or guiding philosophies. I'm a visual arts major who likes to draw, and he's the type of person who watched Fight Club and thought that Tyler Durden was onto something. We get along but have hostilities. My brother resents the fact that I'm not like him and that I don't look up to him as a role model. He is very fond of mocking my interests, hobbies, and career plans, and he often talks literally about a plan for me in which I change my major to engineering and start taking his advice. When he brings this up now over the phone, I stop talking to him for whatever amount of days or weeks until he apologizes, and we do it all over again. 2 weeks ago, my brother made a joke referencing a piece of digital art I drew on my laptop. I didn't think anything of it until I realized after the call ended that I never posted that piece of art anywhere. Not even onto any cloud service, it had only been available on my physical laptop. I was nervous and downloaded malware bytes, but it didn't find anything. Thinking back, I also recalled my brother making a joke about something I said to a friend privately on my Discord, which was also not publicly available. Checking Gmail and a few other websites I'm on that showed options, I discovered someone had been logging into my accounts from an unfamiliar computer and had been doing so for about a week. I called my brother about this, and he laughed and he told me that he had remote access to my computer and that he would be checking up on everything I was doing from this point on. I told him that was ridiculous, and he basically laughed and said that people today have no reasonable expectation of privacy anyway. Without going into detail, I've basically discovered that my brother literally has access to everything in my life. My bank account, school account, my art and chat accounts, all the files on my computer. He has even referenced information that leads me to think that there's a very good chance of him having a camera or microphone in my room. He has been in my apartment in the last month, and the only reason I think he might not is because I haven't been able to find it. There's nothing on my computer or cloud files or anything I'm even remotely embarrassed about, but the idea that my brother has all of my information is terrible and I want him to stop. I don't feel comfortable in my apartment or using my computer or personal accounts anymore. I'm writing this from my school's library. Is there a way to clearly show him that this is wrong with an amount of force and guarantee my privacy in the future without getting him in serious trouble? My brother is an idiot, and I'm ticked at him for this, especially in the way where he acts like it's a joke or that he's doing it to mentor me, which he keeps saying, like he's called me knowing my class schedule, which I never told him, and reminded me to go to classes, etc. But I don't think his life should be ruined over this, even if he is a jerk. He's also joked about dropping my classes, which I got really ticked at, and he assured me it was a joke, but I still feel uncomfortable that he would even hint at that. Thanks. So just popping in to comment on the original post here, I don't think there are words to describe just how creepy everything in this post is. And to be fair to OP, if they're feeling like maybe they put a camera or a microphone in their apartment, it's possible they're doing it through if OP has a laptop or a webcam. Regardless, this isn't the kind of behavior you brush off and say, well, their life shouldn't be ruined. Just because it's your brother doing it, you gotta shut that stuff down. I'm sorry if it ruins his life, but that's kind of life-ruining behavior he's partaking in. OP then goes on to post an update a day later, August 31st, 2018. Without going into a lot of detail, based on some of the stuff I've read on here and a conversation with a friend, I realized that the way I viewed the relationship with my brother was incredibly messed up, and I decided to act more seriously about this. I was thinking about how to proceed last night while cleaning, and then I actually found a camera. I know I said I thought there was one before, but I don't think I really consciously did. It was in my bathroom. I have gone to the police station and for now have an injunction against my brother. I also reported the computer hacking along with texts and a phone message he sent where he both alludes to it and directly confirms it. So, I don't know what will happen, but I feel a lot better having taken this right. I appreciate the comments people sent. It helped a lot. Thanks. And more or less confirmed, OP should have immediately gone to the police as soon as their brother said, "It's okay, I'll just be checking up on you from time to time." I mean, it just feels like almost the worst case scenario here. I mean, it really horrifies me to think about what's probably been going on here. OP then went on to post a second update 8 days later, September 8th, 2018. Without exaggeration, this was probably the worst day of my life. After getting served the injunction/temporary restraining order thing, my brother 1 told my parents and 2 chose to immediately violate it. He left me several messages that essentially was low-key threatening to ruin my life, and I was scared, so I reported it. He was taken to jail, and my current understanding is going to get a type of misdemeanor charge for it, if he already hasn't. I don't know if he's in jail right now. I knew my parents were going to take his side, but they've effectively disowned me for this. My parents are very religious conservative Catholics. I'm not religious anymore, but they don't know that, and they were very upset by me reporting it. That's an understatement. I have enough scholarships where I'll be able to continue paying for my living expenses and school with my part-time job, but the way they treated me was horrible. They're very upset because this will probably screw up his college, according to the talks we've had. They said I'm disgusting and not welcome home, etc. My dad sent me a video of him and my mom burning most of the belongings I left at his house. Not much important to me, but still. They don't believe me about the camera, and my dad said he specifically didn't care even if it was there, just screaming the entire time. I stopped answering my phone and checking my email because it terrifies me. I bought a new cheap computer because even though someone helped me wipe it clean, I'm honestly too scared of using the old one at this point. I haven't left my room in a week. The worst of it is over, I think, but I feel like I fell in a pit. I can't stop crying. OP then went on to post another update just over a month later, October 11th, 2018. Hi, still in California. I'm having some new problems since my last update, and I'm unsure how to handle them. I'd like to say things have been good, but they haven't. I had to stop school this semester because I've become extremely depressed and couldn't handle the workload of both school and work, and some personal things I'm focused on related to my sexual orientation. Planning on going back next semester. Really can't focus on anything past work and my life feels very empty right now. Need to leave the house more and talk to someone who isn't a customer. My brother is still in police custody and still in the process of getting convicted, which apparently takes much longer than I'd thought. My parents and a few random people their age, who I think they've recruited for this, have been continually harassing me through various electronic means and random phone numbers. They do star 67 or something, and spreading false rumors about me, and I was too depressed to deal with it properly with another restraining order or another thing, so it's just been easier to ignore. My main problem at the moment is that I'm trying to get a new job, but I can't because I need my social security number. When I broke off with my parents and this happened, I had some of my important documents with me, but not the ones that college students won't use on a daily basis: passport, social security number, birth certificate. I'm embarrassed, but I don't have it memorized. The last time I needed it, my parents sent me a picture before all this happened, but I no longer have that in my texts. I called my parents to send them to me and tried to make it sound like I'd call the police if they didn't, and my father implied that he either burned them or would never give them to me. He didn't visibly burn them in the video he sent, but I don't know if that was everything. I have trouble talking to him right now, and I couldn't maintain it. I tried calling his parish leader, who I know, and he told me that he would talk to my parents about not giving me the info or harassing me, but it hasn't done anything if he did. Surprise, surprise. The only documents I have to prove ID are my permit and my school ID, which is useless in the scenario. I need more documents if I want to get a new SSN card. I'm also scared of my parents having this information because I think they might try to mess with my life. I'm afraid that if I call the police, my dad will just claim that he never had it and burn it or hide it forever, and then I'm screwed without having any way to fully prove my current identity to get new documents. Also, I want to change my name, and I would appreciate if anyone knows the best way to go about doing that, or if it would be too much of a pain right now. Not that big of a deal and honestly still lazy, but would make me feel better if it's not a big thing. Thank you very much. The people here have been very helpful to me at a point in my life when I don't really have anyone to talk to or give me advice in regards to these types of legal issues. So popping in again, first of all, I think that is going to be such a pain, unfortunately for OP. There are mechanisms and ways to get your birth certificate reprinted, re-given back to you, your social security card and stuff, but it tends to be like a very annoying process from what I've heard. The good news is OP does have the permit, so that's already kind of their window into getting that info back and a copy of those certificates and card. OP then went on to post another update almost 3 months later, January 3rd, 2019. I just want to make this post because I think it's good to make a point about how the world actually works, and I don't like leaving things under the false impression that everything ended up being okay. The last 5 months of 2018 were the worst months of my life because of everything that happened with my brother and me being disowned by my family's friends, and many other people who I thought I knew and respected. I ended up getting my documents back without too much trouble, but after that, everything has been a loss. My brother was not really punished in any substantive way. My parents have endeavored to protect him, and he basically got something on the level of probation, no jail time. He was fired, but has been hired again with a much better job with a small private company because, I'm told, of a connection with a colleague. He or my parents, but I think him for various reasons, had various people call me up from unlisted numbers with vaguely threatening messages, calling me a tramp or just breathing on the phone until I had to get a new number. Rumors have been spread about me to the point where I don't feel comfortable even talking to nice people I knew because I'm afraid they'll judge me based off of things they've seen that aren't true. I still am not going to be able to go back to college this semester because of personal and financial reasons, and I basically have lost all of my friends due to either personal insecurity, severe depression, or the rumors. I don't leave my house outside of work, and I'm not taking care of myself in the way I should. Very grossly thin and pale, working on getting better though, and I've been having very terrible dreams about going to heck and burning alive forever, which are driving me crazy. I'm not going to do anything dramatic, but mentally I'm not where I need to be. I'm not trying to make this a pity party, and I acknowledge that I am a big part of the reason this happened, in the sense that I'm not handling it in the most productive way, and I'm not asking for help. I have a crappy job that allows me to stay alive fine, just having trouble getting to school, which I think I'll be able to start again this summer. But I want to emphasize how freaked up this whole system is. This is the second time in my life that I've been put in this position, and my first time as an adult and someone trying to report it. And either way, I've been screwed, lied to, and watched the person who ruined my life get away and live happier than ever. Nobody cares about people who get violated, and I understand why they don't come out and report. It's all rigged. My brother, his girlfriend, and my parents are on an almost 2-week-long Hawaiian cruise right now, smiling and laughing, and I'm in my apartment still unable to sleep right because of all this. Happy New Year! Enjoy your cruise! What a cool picture of a water slide! Again, thanks to this community at the least. It was a big help in the early stages when I needed to get my thoughts together, and I really appreciated it. I hope everyone who was cool about it gets the type of life they deserve. Really, thank you. And finally, OP posts one more update 3.5 months later, May 19th, 2019. I moved to another state now. For the purposes of the final update, it doesn't matter. Things have settled for me as of 4 weeks ago, and I remembered a lot of people sending me messages and PMs, so I thought I would give a final update. Life isn't good in the sense that everything is perfect. I absolutely do not believe in karma or that good things happen to people who do good and versa with evil people, but things ended up working that way in this scenario after all the crap. Long story short is 3 months ago, my brother was diagnosed with a terminal illness and he passed about 2 months later this April. We don't have a family history with this, and I found out about it more than a month after his diagnosis. Did not see him after his passing, and whatever campaign he had to bug me with his buddies just stopped all of a sudden when he found out about it. So I guess he lost interest once he found out he didn't have much time. I don't know many details because I'm not involved and I obviously didn't try to be, but he's gone. I'm glad. Felt bad about it for a day or two and then just thought, no, really done with it. The universe threw me one freaking freebie and I'm going to appreciate it. I honestly feel freer and happy and I hope he passed on in as much pain as could be expected. My life is good right now. The past 9 months have been some of the worst times of my life, but things have settled into almost niceness. Uni is postponed at the moment and maybe forever, but I found a good job I like in a much cheaper state that I like more and don't have to work a lot. I have plenty of free time now and I'm having fun with it instead of sitting in misery. Started drawing again and reading incredibly depressing online superhero novels. Also pushing myself to make new friends and going to look into therapy soon. Feeling alive again, taking care of my health again and not undereating anymore. Parents have reached out twice and I ignored them, planning to do so again and forever. I hope they rot and I don't feel bad about it anymore. Sick of feeling guilty, sick of feeling sick. They're the freaked up people, not me. All I want to do now is hear about whenever they go and join my brother. I don't want to say my brother suddenly got cancer and died and that fixed everything and I'm happy now, because that isn't true, but he passed on and I'm glad about it. And yes, it did make me feel happy and I'm finding it much easier to be happy now. I wish I could say that I didn't need luck to fix my problems, but whatever. Thanks for everyone who sent me messages and offered me types of help, even if I didn't take it. I had 4 one-time conversations with 4 people, and that meant a lot to me. Hope only nice things happen to you guys. Thanks again. Anybody else think, especially considering this wrapped up in 2019, that OP should honestly consider writing like a book or something about what they've experienced? Unironically, I think if OP did that, it would do really well. Basically though, I'm just glad that OP is in a position where things do look up. On the whole saga, KV left a comment saying, "You know the only reason the parents started reaching out is because the golden child passed on and they're lonely or worried about who's going to take care of them when they're older." It's a mistake I swear left a comment saying, "I really hope she turns around and puts them in a nursing home and runs off with their money." Now, if you enjoyed hearing these stories and you want to hear more crazy updates only stories, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed and want to check out my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.